Good morning, everybody. It is your daily crypto news for Tuesday, November 28th, 2023. My name is Matt. You can reach me at matt@dailycryptonews.net. And as you guys should know, I spilled coffee on my computer and it was out getting repairs, and that's why I haven't been around for a week. And now I have a coffee cup next to my computer with a lid on it. We're not going to do that again. And by the way, that's the second time I've done it, and that's the second computer I ruined by spilling coffee on it. So let's hope I learned my lesson this time. Let's get into daily crypto news. Well, since I've been gone, a couple of things have happened, pretty notable things. First is Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, left and kind of came back. And CZ, the CEO of Binance, Binance being the world's largest crypto exchange, stepped down from his role. And this is part of a settlement with the United States Department of Justice. Why, you may ask? Well, CZ pled guilty to violating U.S. anti-money laundering laws. Part of the settlement is going to be that Binance has to pay $4.3 billion in fines. CZ himself has to pay $50 million. And the evidence was pretty damning. Apparently, when they shut down Binance for U.S. customers, that meant the poors. I mean, people that weren't the high rollers in Binance. For the people who were high rollers in Binance, they literally set up a call center to give them white glove services so they can call them to make sure that they can help and walk through and guide them through using Binance despite the anti-money laundering acts and Binance.com being banned from the United States. So there's that. Well, in the first 24 hours of CZ pleading guilty, Binance saw $1 billion in outflows from its exchange. On average, the net outflows over 7 days amounts to around $703 million, so it was quite significant. Also, a couple days before this ruling, Binance moved around $3.9 billion in Tether from its cold wallet. Most of the money was moved out of Binance's Binance Cold 2 wallet, and another one of its wallets, Binance 3. The cold wallet currently holds around $6.6 billion worth of funds, $4 billion in USDT, and the rest in USDD, USDC, and True USD. The destination wallet now holds around $3.2 billion in assets. Most of it is in Tether, and everybody's wondering, is this for paying the fine, or is this something else, considering that it came a couple days before the verdict? Well, because of this plea deal, CZ pled guilty. There's going to be a $4.3 billion fine. He paid $50 million. He steps down as CEO. Of course, there has to be a new CEO. The new CEO is Richard Tung, who previously was Binance's global head of regional markets, and before that, the firm's Singapore CEO. Tung said he is committed to the Binance way, which makes me raise eyebrows because what is the Binance way? Money laundering? Anyway, in his view, the Binance way is consistently delivering the best-in-class products that people use and find valuable. Well, CZ, through all of this, he said, you know what, I'm not going to go to court until, February. I'm going to go back to the UAE with my family, and the United States says, no, I think you're a flight risk, meaning that you'll probably just hop on a flight and disappear. So CZ has to stay in the United States, despite him putting up $15 million and had a guarantors offer of $5 million in collateral for a $175 million bond. He's out, staying in a hotel, hanging out, but has to stay in the United States until his sentencing, February of 2024. Well, Coinbase's CEO, Brian Armstrong, has some words on this. He said that the enforcement action against Binance will allow all of us to turn the page on all of this and hopefully close that chapter of history. He continues to say that he thinks regulatory clarity is going to help bring in more investment, especially from institutions. Basically, what this all looks like, and we've been talking about this for months, that this is regulatory capture. These companies, Coinbase, Circle, and now BlackRock, are all trying to corner this industry basically for themselves. Now, my thoughts of all of this over the past week is, why would CZ just give himself up? Now, there's a couple reasons. Maybe CZ just loves the crypto industry. Maybe he thinks that he was always doing something good, and he's doing it for the greater good. Is it personal preservation? Does he know that maybe he can get a better deal, like something that's more lenient, if he just gives himself up and throws himself at the mercy of the DOJ and the courts and the SEC and the United States government? Or is it something a little bit more, calculated? BlackRock goes to CZ, says, hey, look, we want to get this spot Bitcoin ETF. You, CZ, have been stacking sats ever since, you started the whole thing. And we know that you probably have 100,000 Bitcoin, maybe even more, stashed somewhere that nobody even knows about. If Bitcoin number go up, you're still a billionaire. But we can't get this spot Bitcoin ETF if you're around because the United States government and the SEC really doesn't trust you and the exchange. There's a couple reasons why. Number one, money laundering. They can't condone that. Second one is market manipulation. So we have to sacrifice you for the greater good. And if you do that, we can organize the deal to make sure that you don't do much time, you pay just a fine. Binance, the company that you built, is still around. It has a new CEO, and we get a spot Bitcoin ETF, and everybody continues to do business, and you are still rich as hell. Now, I personally like that version a lot better. It makes a lot more sense. What do you think? Matt at dailycryptonews.net. Well, Coinbase's CEO is not the only CEO and founder to weigh in on CZ's predicament. BitMEX founder Arthur Hayes, who is also convicted of violating anti-money laundering laws. So, okay, he's coming from experience here. He claimed that the treatment of CZ and Binance is absurd, arguing that it highlights the arbitrary nature of punishment in the hands of the state. Kind of agree there. He continues to say that the two big-to-fail bank CEOs responsible for the 2007-2008 financial crisis, they got a free pass because to prosecute them would threaten the banking system. And he concludes by saying that Binance and the crypto industry represents a challenge to the financial and political establishment. Now, Arthur, I understand where you're coming from here, but, the United States does have rules, and you don't have to like the rules, and you don't even have to follow the rules, but you have to understand that there are consequences to the rules. Now, if you're trying to go against the establishment and fight against the big banks and the Fed, you're literally fighting against the big banks and the Fed. What do you think there's going to be? Consequences. So, therefore, I think that CZ probably knew, and if anybody who's trying to break the system understands that there's going to be people trying to support the system. This is just basically how the game is played, correct? If you're going to launder money and you break anti-money laundering laws for a country and the country catches you and then prosecutes you, it's not absurd. It's you broke the law in that country, especially since there's evidence that he deliberately knew that he was breaking the law and set up procedures so that other Americans could break said law. Now, again, you could be a rebel, you could be the Robin Hood, you can be all of these other things and still be guilty of breaking that law. One man's devil is another man's hero. Who is CZ to you? Let me know. Matt at dailycryptonews.net. Speaking of somebody that there's a list of people that I've never trusted in this space, and this is one of them. Richard Hart. The United States government is now searching for him. He's been charged months ago with orchestrating an illegal $1 billion security scheme. What is that? Well, it's HEX. And he promised two holders of HEX that HEX would become the highest appreciating asset that have ever existed in the history of man. Big claims. Doesn't sound sketchy at all. Well, the SEC and the United States government has been looking for Richard Hart, and they can't find him. However, he has publicly tweeted 31 times in the past 6 days. Still can't find him. He's being slippery. Again, Richard Hart has always been on my list of people I really never trusted in the space. And there's been a couple more. Alex Mashinsky was always on that list. CZ actually is on that list, despite everybody really liking CZ. Crypto.com is also on that list. Let me sit down for the next couple of days and figure out who is still alive, meaning not in jail, that would be on my list that I just don't trust. I kind of feel that I've been spot on for the most part. And finally, before the prices, AI can now fix your DeFi smart contracts because of this new program called Lightning Cat. Lightning Cat is an AI model trained to catch blockchain problems before they can be exploited by armies of bots and hackers. However, Lightning Cat also could be used by an army of bots and hackers to find vulnerabilities. So now there's an AI program looking at smart contracts to find vulnerabilities for the good guys and the bad guys. Now let's get into those crypto prices.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
And the time is 9:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are at 69 greedy in the Fear of Greed Index. Bitcoin is sitting at $37,383, up 1% in 24 hours, 1% in 7 actually. Ethereum's at $2,033, up 0.2% in 24. Tether is number 3. Binance is at $2.29, up 1.1% in 24, or down 10.5 in 7. We know why. And XRP is number 5. Rounding off the top 10, we have USDC, Solana, which, by the way, as you know, I am holding some bags of Solana. and we're at $56.28, up 2.5%. That still puts me at a loss. Cardano is number 8, Dogecoin is number 9, and Tron is still hanging into the top 10, surprisingly. The total market cap is at $1.14 trillion, a Bitcoin dominance of 52%, an ETH dominance of 17.2%, and Kathy frickin' Woods just sold 43,956 shares of Coinbase worth around $5.3 million. We are literally around $20 away from my break even, so why are you selling, Kathy? Come on, let's pump my bags, please. Coinbase reached its highest levels in the past 18 months. Currently pre-market, it's up 1.7% at $121.80. So Kathy, please don't be right with this one. I don't want to go down. I really want my bags to break even finally. But Kathy, she had plans with a little bit of that money. She bought 143,063 shares of Robinhood, worth around $1.2 million. That was our show today. And I'm happy to be back. I hope you're happy to have me back. And I will see you tomorrow. Until then, a lot more happies. And this time it's hodling. Everyone,